Recently, short videos about Jews occupying others' nests and invading Ukraine are everywhere on the internet. Many bloggers have come forward to express their views, making a lot of noise. From such a piece of news, countless more sensational and true or false views and jokes have emerged, making this matter a mess. So, what is the truth? Are Jews really occupying others' nests in the small city of Uman? Is the traditional truth of Hasidic Judaism really like this? Actually not. In the final analysis, this is a tradition of Hasidic Judaism. As the state religion of Israel, Judaism can be divided into three factions: Ultra-Orthodox, Orthodox, and Hasidic. The Ultra-Orthodox are the Haredi Jews we have mentioned many times. These are local Jews in the Fertile Crescent. They strictly abide by Jewish laws and lead a secluded life and have a good relationship with local Arabs. The Orthodox is currently the mainstream Jewish sect. A large part of the Jewish Zionists who make up the majority in Israel can be classified into this sect. Compared with Haredi Jews, Orthodox Jews are simply not real Jews. They take a relatively pragmatic and utilitarian attitude towards Jewish doctrines. The reason why they believe in Judaism is mainly to complete the national construction of Israel and create aliens to invade the land of surrounding Arabs. Different from the Orthodox and Ultra-Orthodox is the Hasidic Jews. The Hasidic sect, the pious sect, originated in the early 18th century. Its earliest founder, Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer, is a legendary figure. The Hasidic sect he founded adopts a decentralized, distributed structure. His disciples form various religious groups. Each religious group spreads and develops, and manages its own Jewish community. One of the third-generation successors of Eliezer, Rabbi Nachman, founded his own religious group in the small western Ukrainian city of Bratslavi and later moved to Uman and was buried there. Since then, Uman has become an important base and pilgrimage site for the Hasidic sect. In fact, this kind of pilgrimage of Jews of the Hasidic sect to Uman during the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, every year has been going on for 100 or 200 years. The number of people going there is different every year. Sometimes there are 40 to 50,000 people at most, and sometimes there are only 10 to 20,000 people. It is said that nearly 40,000 people went there this year. The reasons for the strong reaction this incident has actually sparked widespread controversy within Israel. The controversy mainly focuses on the view that now Israel is almost in a chaotic battle with Palestine, Lebanon, the Yemeni Houthis, the Iraqi Popular Mobilization Forces, and Iran. Israel is in an awkward situation of multi-front warfare. People are dying on the front line every day. The situation in Israel is so tense that even the Haredi Jews, who have never been mobilized before, are being drafted into the army. Under such circumstances, 40,000 Hasidic Jews actually go to Uman, a city thousands of miles away in Ukraine, to celebrate the Jewish New Year. This clearly has the suspicion of evading military service. Therefore, this matter has caused all parties in Israel to have a big quarrel at the same time. All kinds of abstract behaviors of these Hasidic Jews in Ukraine and the actions of Israeli police running to Ukraine to enforce the law are even more irritating to some people's nerves. According to reports, after these Hasidic Jews arrived in Uman, they indulged in drinking and revelry day and night, made noise and caused trouble, and even gathered to take drugs. This is in sharp contrast to the soldiers on the front line in Ukraine. Some Jews speak rudely to the local Ukrainian people and insult the national dignity of Ukraine. For example, they take down the Ukrainian national flag on the flagpole and replace it with the Israeli national flag. They take baths in the well where a Ukrainian widow whose husband died in Donbas fetches water after disputes with the locals. It is said that it is not the Ukrainian police who come to enforce the law, but the Israeli police who come to support and maintain order. In our view, This obviously reveals a somewhat inappropriate feeling for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as national dignity. What's going on here? Let's talk about it in 3 points. First, this is the doctrine of the Hasidic sect. The reason why the Hasidic sect was expelled from the ultra-Orthodox sect back then was that, compared to the ultra-Orthodox Jews who practice asceticism, these people are a bit less serious. Others pay attention to spiritual cultivation, but they tell the Jews that asceticism is too hard. Why don't we find some fun? Thus, the Hasidic Jews formed a tendency to focus on secular life and indulge in pleasure. Now they are just copying their own lifestyle. Second, this is the nature of Israelis. After observing the Palestine-Israel conflict for a year, we can find that this country and nation of Israel more or less have a tendency of believing in religion and having some kind of mental illness. It is mainly manifested in complete overconfidence, talking to oneself, being pretentious, speaking rudely. Only I am God's chosen people. All of you people in the world are slaves of the Jews and will go to hell after death. This extremely deviated perception will eventually bring about the inexplicable arrogance of Israelis, the indulgence of the United States towards Israel this year, and the huge pressure caused by the surrounding arc of resistance to Israel have made Israelis in a unique psychological state of being both inferior and arrogant, both anxious and crazy. Few people in this psychological state are normal. It is not strange for them to do things that insult the national dignity of Ukraine and cause conflicts with the locals in UMA. And thirdly, regarding the situation of Israeli police enforcing the law in UMAN, we don't know much about this aspect, but we can give an example. As early as May 2016, according to the relevant police cooperation agreement, the Chinese and Italian police launched a joint law enforcement operation in Rome during the tourist season. The first batch of 4 policemen from the Guangzhou Public Security Bureau of China arrived in Rome to participate in law enforcement, mainly responsible for handling relevant police matters of Chinese tourists visiting Rome. In recent years, police cooperation between China and Europe has gradually deepened. In addition to going to Rome to participate in duty, Chinese policemen have also gone to Croatia. This year, they will go to Hungary to participate in duty again. Italian policemen have even come to China and participated in joint duty with Chinese policemen in the Westlake scenic area of Hangzhou to handle issues related to foreign tourists. Therefore, this kind of cross-border police law enforcement action cannot find any faults, at least in international law and international police cooperation practices, as long as the two governments reach an agreement through consultation. Of course, it is unknown whether the Israeli police have committed the arrogant problem again when they run to Ukraine, and whether they are partial to Israeli tourists in the law enforcement process. So how to evaluate this matter? Therefore, although there has been a lot of noise on the internet in recent days, saying that Israelis have run to Ukraine to occupy others' nests and that Israelis have begun to occupy Ukraine, I think that according to the current situation, we can only analyze 3 facts from it. First, the so-called occupation of UMAN by Israeli Jews is not a new thing. It is just an annual pilgrimage activity for the Jewish New Year. Not only is there one this year, but there is one every year. After the New Year, people will disperse. You can't say that Israelis occupy UMAN once every year. Play video. Second, these Israelis who run to UMAN have seriously violated the lifestyle of the locals, causing noise disturbance and provoking trouble. This proves that these Israelis do not respect the locals in Ukraine at all, just like they do not respect Arabs. It also proves that these Israelis have a bad nature, but it cannot be used as evidence that these people are here to occupy Ukraine. Thirdly, the Israeli police who come to Ukraine to enforce the law are most likely providing police services to these Hasidic Jews who come to Uman for pilgrimage and festival according to the police agreement signed between Israel and Ukraine. Perhaps these Israeli police are partial to their own people in the law enforcement process. However, it is also an international practice for two governments to sign a police agreement and send police to perform duties across borders. Just as we cannot say that Chinese police have occupied Rome or occupied Budapest, so this is my view on the widely spread rumor that Israeli Jews have occupied the Ukrainian city of Uman and usurped the nest. That is, in a word, this is not true. Maybe Israelis have a plan to occupy Ukraine. But from this incident of Israelis going to Uman, you cannot draw this conclusion. However, even if Israelis did not occupy Uman this time, in the long run, the net outflow of population in Israel should be an overall long-term trend. After all, up to now in this Palestine-Israel conflict, Israeli media has admitted that more than 550,000 people have fled Israel and do not intend to return. A considerable part of these people are young and middle-aged, and there are only over 7 million Jews as the core population in Israel. This is equivalent to losing 7% of the people at once. These people probably all run to the United States and Western Europe. In the future, as the security situation in Israel continues to deteriorate, it is expected that the scale of these Israeli immigrants will further expand. These Israeli immigrants are a problem wherever they go. From an individual perspective, as we analyzed earlier, these people are both inferior and conceited, both arrogant and anxious, and their lifestyle is incompatible with that of the locals. Assimilation is a huge problem wherever they go. From a group perspective, the problems of Zionism being accustomed to manipulating financial capital and being accustomed to using financial capital to hijack national power and hollow out the country's real industries have been fully manifested in the United States and Europe.